Tell me, where's the other side?
It's like there's light coming from my left-hand side. It's very, very dark, like I've gone through like an abyss.
Mm-hmm.
But above me is this huge, huge eye. And right in the beginning, Nostradamus popped in. He sort
Mm-hmm.
of dropped in on the side. And
Mm-hmm.
then the really old lady, that what you would term a crone,
Mm-hmm.
coming in from the left.
And what did Nostradamus want to share with whoever's watching here today?
Resurrection.
Mm-hmm. And as you were
He said,
connecting into your, please go ahead.
he said it's time for resurrection. And a lot of people don't really know what it means to have a resurrection or to hold a resurrection or to even experience a resurrection. And he says, look up the word. What does resurrection mean? And he said, many people need to step into this because it is a new time, it is a new beginning. He said, many speak about the new earth, but they actually don't understand the terminology of that fully. And he said, you humans on earth have a term always called grounding. Ground yourself, ground yourself. And he said, and what are you actually grounding to? He said, it's the earth. And he said, and is the earth underneath you? Is this new for you? How do you look at this earth? How do you view this earth? Do you realize the connection that you have with this earth and the earth has with you? And he said, this grounding, to be grounded, means to be balanced and steady within oneself. He says, but so many are off balance, have lost their balance, have lost their way. They don't even know how to think or feel anymore. He said, and you and I often use this term that we enjoy called discombobulated. And he said that word works very well for humanity at the moment. He said they're very discombobulated with everything that's going on. He says, but they don't remember that they are their own shelter. They're looking for saviors everywhere. And he said, this is why it's time for a resurrection, to resurrect themselves, the part of themselves, the soul of whom they are, and bring that forth. He said, and when they do this, they will truly stand in their power. For each and every one of you that are here today, he said, are incredibly powerful beings. And he's saying that you and I, this is a message that we continually share with everybody that comes our way, to let them know how truly powerful they are and how they are giving away their power, how they are leaking their power. And he said, and this is why it's a time for resurrection, for them to realize that they are a soul and to step into the soulful selves of themselves. And he's now speaking about joy. And he says, you have a term called joyful, or I will joyfully do that. He said he wants you to break those two words up, joy and full and fully. He said, we've spoken about joy being just own yourself. He said that is truly to be full of joy when one does own oneself and embrace oneself. And that's when you step into who you came to be. He says, but the second half is full. He said, are you full? What are you full of? The fullness of what you have. How is it serving you? Are you full of new ideas? Are you full of new beginnings? Are you full of opportunities? Are you full of love? Are you full of compassion? Or are you full of toxins? Are you full of remorse? Are you full of anger? Are you full of resentment? And he said, you are, and he's saying, he's using the words living library. He said, you are a living library with so many editions. He said, there are so many editions that you hold. Your current incarnation, this fractal, this energy formula of who you came to be this time round, is but one book. It's your book of your life. He said, so what are you choosing to put on the pages of your book? He said, are the emotions that you are feeling, are they fueling you? Or are they fearing you? Have a look and see, he said, what it is that you are holding on your page. And he said, the absolute deliciousness of this conversation, he said, is that he is coming through time and space, and yet he's never apart. And many think he is apart, but he said he is there for all of us because he's part of an enormous collective. And he said, so he agrees with me that we were created in order to create. And he said, and what is it that you are creating? And he said, if this current page is not suiting you, turn the page. Just turn the page.
Well, thank you for that, because I actually did Google the word Nostradamus, the resurrection, and it says the rising from the dead of a divine or human being who still retains his own personhood or individuality, though the body may or may not be changed. And I love that description because I sense and I feel, and hopefully you can give us some understanding of this. It's been spoken of many times by many different platforms, many different people, that we are going through ascension symptoms. Can you please explain more how our bodies are being upgraded through these, or are they, or has this just been something that we've been led to believe?
Well, you are a tuner, and you are your own piano tuner. And what does a piano tuner do? We have just shared this with this one last week, where we showed her the analogy of the piano tuner and yourselves as an instrument, a fine musical instrument. You carry all the notes, you carry all the sounds, you have this beautiful mathematical equation, you have your geometric symbols all inside. Now, how are you singing? How are you sounding? Is your tone vibrational tone, meaning what is coming out of your portal of light? Is it on low or is it on high? How do you wish to be perceived? And we always come back to the self. One can hold many memories of angst, fear, pain, failure, resentment, and hold it in the system and hold it in the system. This beautiful system that you were gifted. But we have alchemy. You are made of a photonic structure, and you are the alchemists, are you not? You are able to change your photonic structure. You can tinker with your DNA. You are the master and the commander of your vessel, are you not? And that is why we gifted you the name Earth Masters, or you came to Master Earth, and we asked you the question, are you mastering Earth, or is it mastering you? So those that will feel the symptoms have not got to know themselves deeply. They are not attached to the emotion fully. For you need to feel it, hear it, sense it, see what it's doing to you, see what it's doing for you. Each and every emotion that is attached to each and every organ. And in those areas where you are holding, therefore you have a heaviness, the flow is no longer there. There is a stagnation that sets in, and that area is no longer aligned. It is heavy in its vibration, and therefore it is not at ease, it is at dis-ease, and it is self-inflicted. So you speak about ascending and ascension and the symptoms, and we say to you, have a look at your body. In what area of your body are you feeling pain, hurt, a niggle? And that is where your area will be focused. Look up to see the metaphysical meaning of those areas, and then you will know what the emotion is that you haven't mastered. Your body is speaking to you all the time. So with Ascension, you will be feeling it more as the energies are ramping up. So you will not be able to ignore what it is that you have come to learn or experience, because it'll be compounded. So the question we ask you is, how do you choose to travel through each day, each hour, each minute, each year? Do you wish it to be a heavy journey, or do you wish it to be a light one? The choice is always yours. You can spend your time that has been gifted to you, blaming a situation or blaming another human for the situation that you feel you have been put in or under. However, everything is choice. You can sit under or in a situation for as long or as short as you choose. However, the longer you sit under something, note under, that is where the weight comes in, that's where the heaviness comes in, that's where the frustration, the resentment, and the anger come in. However, each human has a different structure, a different note, and a different song, a different tune, a different vibration, a unique signature, a blueprint, an essence. You are always remembered and known by your tune or your signature, your essence. It travels with you through all your incarnations. And so we come back to Ascension. How are you ascending, rising above each and every situation in your life? Because that's what it means to ascend, to rise above above. And we are reminding this one of the words that we used with her through the discourse, where we said, why would you judge another? Why would you judge another situation? Why would you judge those who you feel are being mean to you, doing something to you, playing victim, when you were once that yourself? It is time to move. It is time to flow. It is time to experience. There's a train. Which one do you wish to jump on board? The old steam train that takes a very long time, or the bullet train? Both are there. Once again, it is choice. What do you choose? And we say, Laura Weaver was a beautiful teacher because she said, I was speaking to so-and-so and they were trying to tell me what to do. And I said to them, stay in your lane, basically, which means just own yourself. Everybody's got their own lane, their own experience, their own adventure, their own path. How can you travel on yours if you are so busy looking at what everybody else is doing? Be the best that you came to be. And the way you can do that is by keeping an eye on your path. This one, was she not visited by Sekhmet?
Mm-hmm.
And Sekhmet said, when she stood at Sekhmet's temple and she saw Sekhmet looking down, very demure, and Sekhmet said to her, do not take this as I am looking down and being demure, for I am far from demure. I am looking down because I want to show you how you look at your path. And one such as you, your path ahead is very right, but keep on your path. Just own yourself. And that is what we would like to share with humanity today. The joy of themselves, filling themselves up fully with their joy.
Thank you for that. And it's interesting because whilst you were sharing what you were sharing, and there were a few questions that you actually already asked, and that I'd asked in spirit and hadn't mentioned it. And one of those, and you actually answered. So one of those was a few weeks ago. Jill had put me under hypnosis, and we'd received a comment about none of this information has come true. And I was trying to find the comment, but for the life of me, I clearly wasn't meant to find the comment. And it was interesting because basically what you have described is that everybody feels something different when we are bringing these connections. I'm assuming we bring these connections, and you talk about the essence. And this is what I wanted to ask you was, we know humans like labels. And something I was discussing with a friend today was, when we were growing up, like my era, we didn't know what narcissists were. We didn't know what ADHD was. We didn't know what, we were told we were naughty and kids had to be heard and not seen. But there's all these labels, you A-type personality, you this, and there's just so much I know that as humans. So I'm going to go back to what this person had, first of all, put out there. And it's very important for Jill and I think, that we want to bring information that is healing and that is shared in the most lightest of the dark. So the labels, but also the information that we are sharing. Is this something that we continue putting out there in sharing what we have seen and what we know to be coming into fruition? Or I suppose what I'm asking is, how much fear is there out on this earth in the essence of human beings? So sorry, there's a few questions in that, but yeah, please forgive me for not sharing and explaining, because my head's going, oh my God, I've got to ask this, I've got to ask this, I've got to ask this. So please, where do you even start? I'm sure that you got it all.
So the very first thing they go is jibber jabber, jibber jabber, jibber jabber, jibber jabber.
But there's so much. I'm just being human. And I'm sure a lot of people feel that way.
Well, that's the joy of being human. You have an opportunity to jibber jabber, and a lot of you jibber jabber a lot. So firstly, we'll address the human who felt the need to, what we term, call you out. They felt that the information that you had put out hadn't eventuated, and this was upsetting and unsettling to them. But when this one asked, please tell me what information it was so we can address it, there was no response, because that human was frustrated with itself. And that is the way the humans pass their power over to another. For putting another on a pedestal serves no one. This one, and you, Michelle, have never put yourselves on what is termed a pedestal. You've come to be of service, and this is why we are speaking through you on this day. We've come as a collective, and Nostradamus is part of this collective today. And so we wish to share with you the frailty of the human system when it allows itself to leak power. Luckily, this one had risen above of not worrying about what others think of her anymore. For if that was the case a year ago, she would have gone in a downward spiral, thinking, oh my gosh, what have I done? Have I done it correctly? Have I hurt somebody? There will be many, many people who you will hurt in this life. It's not that you are doing the hurting. It is that they are hurting themselves by the perceptions that they hold. And we showed this one a banquet. You can visit a banquet and you can pay $50 and eat as much as you like. One person will go in there and think the banquet is fantastic. Another will go in and say, this is not the way I cook chicken. This is not to my liking. Somebody else will go in and say, I've never seen so much variety. This is fantastic. This serves my needs completely. And so it is with everybody that comes across your platform or any other person's platforms. They will either resonate or they will not. It is not your job to decide whether material is good for each and every person. It is for the receiver. You are channels. We channel through you. You see the vision, you receive the download, it comes through your photonic structure, and it comes out with your flavor, your essence. And we then work through others as well. And when our words come through another, it'll come through with their flavor, with their essence, with their tune. It is the same message, but it's come through in a different flavor. For those who don't resonate to your tune, your signature, your essence, will find it in another. There is no right, there is no wrong. It is just the way of energy. So we say, do not perturb yourselves. All those who are listening have a choice. Do these channels resonate with me? Am I feeling uplifted, or does this make me feel heavy? With humanity's energy that is being lifted with what you call ascension and ascension symptoms, things are happening at a different rate. What you might have said will eventuate might be put on a different timeline, and it might not be necessary for humanity to even experience that anymore. So just because it hasn't happened, it doesn't mean that it hasn't happened in a different timeline. So please, this is not a time to be perturbed. This is a time to know yourself, to go within, to fill yourselves with joy. What is it that is your highest excitement? What is it that you are passionate about? What is it that you wish to share? This is a time for sharing and expansion and growing and knowing and flowing. This is a very, very good time to be on earth. You were all chosen to be here at this particular time for ascension, for all your energy was needed in its unique signature in the area where you are living. As the troubled times come closer, some of you will depart, some of you will stay. Where will those go that are departing? They will go onto their landing platforms, to their way stations, where they will be greeted, where they will be nurtured, where they will be loved, where they will be embraced. And they will then choose, along with either their soul families or their guides, their team members, where do they wish to share their energy once again. So this is but a sliver in the time of space, time. Why are you deciding to fret about stuff, to put fear into things, when you chose to be here at this time? You chose to be part of this grand experiment where the earth is taking her new place. She is ascending, and you are all ascending with her. It is a symbiotic relationship. You are the chosen ones, every single one. So who are you, or who are anyone to judge those that you come across on your path as more than or less than? None are more, none are less. All are equal. And we have mentioned this time and time again. Never above, never below. Never to the front, never to the back, but side by side, walking your paths together.
Thank you for this explanation. And it's such a grand reminder, and we know what the fear feels like. We know that we have so many old paradigms that are shifting right now, and we feel incredibly grateful. I always feel incredibly grateful to bring the information through, and I'm sure Jill does too. So thank you for bringing this information through. Is there anything that you guys can share with the up and coming elections in America, as we know that this is a pivotal time for change within the states? Is there anything you'd like to share with regards to America and the energy?
Yes, we'd like to say, what is the energy that has been thrown into those elections? You've got different factions. One faction feels a certain way. The other faction feels a complete and opposite way. And both want their so-called candidate to be the winner. And what will happen when their candidate does not win? Will they still feel like a winner within themselves? Will they then decide to be violent against another? We say America at the moment is a boiling pot. Is it time to have somebody step forward and turn the heat down. Who will be the peacemaker? Who will be the peace broker? Please note that both what are termed leaders feel the need to denigrate the other. Why? We would like to ask the question, is it important to denigrate or pull down another in order for oneself to feel better? We do not feel these are the qualities of what we would term our leaders. Earth do not have leaders at the moment. It is time for what is termed a way shower to step in. Rather, ask the communities, ask humanity, what is it that you need at this time? Do you need housing? Do you need warmth? Do you need security? Do you need food? Do you need electricity? Are you working so hard with so many crazy hours that you are unable to rest well, to feed your family, to take a holiday? These are the issues that need to be addressed. You can always tell the measure of a country's wealth by how well their residents are doing. Are they all housed? Are they all fed? Are they secure? Are they protected? So the bubbling that is happening in this place that you term USA, there is a bubbling happening in many pots, in many countries, and there are many revolutions on the way. But the revolution is for your evolution, for it is time for humanity to evolve. And we spoke through this one to you and to Kelvin. And we said, she needs to teach, you need to teach, Kelvin needs to teach the art of communication. For many do not know how to use this portal of light, to use their words, and their words are nothing but energy. If they could actually see their words coming out their mouth, their portal of light, as a brick or a feather, they would then choose their words very carefully. For as the words come out as bricks, they can come smashing down on themselves and injure themselves. Whatever they give out to another is what they get back for themselves. So what is the trumpet trumpeting? What is the Kamala Harris trumpeting? What are the words and the energy that they are choosing for themselves? For as they are flinging the arrows are all coming back. Where is the symbiotic relationship for all the residents, for all the citizens, for all the people in any given country? These slanging matches do not serve humanity, but break it down, cause separation and division. We say, when you are divided, you are weak. When you are together, you are strong. Become your own leader.
Thank you. That is so powerful in what you guys are saying. And I'd like to go to the Holy Land. And we know that this has been the Holy Land for such a long time. And everything you're saying completely resonates with me. And It is. This is an evolutionary flip that I'm hoping that we are all seeing, and we're all being a part of this. So this change in the Holy Land, and I know we don't own, we've come to Earth because we think we own Earth, which we don't own Earth. We're here to visit. And is there anything you could share for those that are feeling called or compelled to share a different energy for the Holy Land, to again not have this outrageous war that's happening?
So this Holy Land, it has been holy for time immemorial. What is it that makes that land holy? What is it that makes anything holy? And yet it has been violated, and in retaliation, it has violated another. And so both now are running on a low wattage. When you run on a low wattage, how clearly can you see? It is but a dim light, but it is playing its part for the evolution of mankind, for its actions of the Holy Land against another have brought up much discussion around the world, has it not?
Mm-hmm.
And so it is time, as we said, for the discourse to begin. And what is discourse but a conversation? And so as these violations have been perpetrated, one against another, for every action, there is an opposite and equal reaction. This is nothing but science. This is nothing but energy. It is hopefully teaching humanity to look within. Where have they violated another? And what are they getting in return? And many are pointing the finger at the Holy Land, and many are pointing the finger at the other. And yet, how many fingers are they pointing at themselves? It is very easy to point a finger at another, or an institution, or an incident. But it does say throwing a stone at someone else in a glass house. Think about it. He who casts the first stone, how many stones are you going to get back? This is a game of chess. Pleased to know that the one that is in charge of the Holy Land at the moment, he's not in charge. He is a puppet. His strings are being pulled by the puppeteers. So who are the puppeteers? Who are pulling the strings of many throughout your earth plane? Fear not. Much is yet to be revealed. Stay in your lanes. Bring joy to those around you and yourselves. Send love to the Holy Land. Send your love to the other land. We speak about Israel, we speak about Gaza. And yet there's Lebanon and then there's Iran. There are many players in this area. So as you send the light and the love to both parties, as you send the light and the love to the trumpet and to the Kamala, Kamala, then the tension dissipates out of a tight line that's about to go ping. And what happens to everyone else all along those lines when it goes ping? Never for one moment think that you are separate from any land, holy or otherwise, or individual, or being on this earth plane. For all are connected, all are one. So once again, we say, what is it that you choose? Love or hate? Fear or peace? For you are a powerful being. What you project is what you receive. So therefore, how much abundance, how much peace, how much love do you choose for yourself? Reflect, reflect, reflect.
Well, that is most certainly what I believe so many of us are doing, is looking at those reflections that keep coming back into our field. And I'd like to ask you guys about the grids, because something that, and I'm so grateful that Nostradamus is with us, because he predicted so much, and I think there's so much that's written in his texts, even though it might not have been understood. Well, it's understood by many, but there are many, the way that he wrote it, and the way that he predicted things, it definitely seems to be coming into light. And as everything is interconnected, is there certain grids that are kind of locked in the system? And this takes me to us being in Egypt, and many different groups were taken to Egypt in 2023. So is this where many of these groups are going to different parts of the world and unlocking these grids, or reunite? Like, I don't even know if I have the right words, but you know, grids are, they held together. And I was
Gridlock.
gridlocked, exactly. You know, when we come into traffic, we're at a standstill, and it feels like this is where we all kind of holding our breath for what's to come. So are we gridlocked? And I know you've shared about being more joyful, being more in peace, bringing love. But were there grids that needed to be unlocked or reconnected in these parts of the world?
As this one clears her throat, it is apt because, and it is apt that you used the word light. And did we not give you the task of going to Egypt to open up the portal, to let
Yes.
that light in order to dissipate the heaviness or the darkness, whatever you wish to term it? And as you are all connected, all energy is connected, the whole grid is connected, and you live within and around and on the grid. So if you look at the areas where there is heaviness, just once again, we speak about the Holy Land. That is what we term gridlocked. The energy in that area is not flowing. There is not enough what you term love in that area to let it flow. Where the areas are growing, where the people flowing, where the people feel happy, feel calm, feel peaceful, is because that's where the grid is flowing.
Mm.
In South Africa, you have the grid goes down, does it not?
Mm-hmm.
And what do they call it?
Load shedding.
Load shedding.
Mm-hmm.
The most
So
beautiful
clever.
terminology.
Yes. So clever. Yes. Load shedding. Yeah. Wow.
Load shedding. Have we not always told this one to break up all the words?
Mm-hmm.
Load shedding. There is a lot of load that's being carried in Africa, and that is why we sent you to that continent, because it needs to shed the load.
Mm.
So there is a gridlock where the loads need to be shed.
Mm.
And just in your entire system, you are gridlocked in certain areas.
Mm.
Where do you need to shed the load? So, to answer your question, there are many that came to be what we call toners. And a toner is somebody that goes to a particular area and they hold the tone, they hold the energy in a particular place. They keep it steady, they keep it balanced. And we have sprinkled many different toners through different areas. And then there are the helpers that need to go and help the toner. So they go, they follow the calling into all the different pockets on your earth plane where there is a gridlock,
Mm.
where the load needs to be helped to shed it and move it along. Michelle, we ask you, when you were in the pyramid with this one and the others, did you not see the grid?
I did. Yet for me, just in my own personal experience, it was an excruciating start. was not what I expected. So I'd like to know on a personal level, what happened to me in that space when I got down to the bottom, please, if you don't mind me asking this question. What happened to my legs that just caved?
Well, we are smiling because does it not take an enormous amount of energy to open up mini grids?
It sure does. Yes, and it felt like I was giving birth that specific day, that night. I mean, it
Could,
was just
could,
crazy.
could you please tell us what birth is?
Well, it's opening up of everything. It's giving life to a miracle. It's a connection between one sperm that there's millions and one egg. So it's creation.
It's creation. Is it a new beginning?
Yes.
It's a new beginning.
Wow.
So you were our toner, but you were more than our toner. You went in to open many portals through many gridlocked systems. You had a master switch. They're showing me a huge, big, old-fashioned thing that comes down like a heavy
Wow.
and it had been down for a long time. So you had to pull through your feet, through your legs, pulling, 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 pulling it up, pulling it up, pulling it up until it could get flicked over.
Mm.
And so the aches, the pains coming through your loins
Mm.
were used. They needed your particular tune, your particular frequency, your sacred geometry to do that particular job. They knew that you would be able to get through the pain.
Mm.
And you chose to give birth to many. We say now, we're showing her the image of a woman giving birth to 5 babies and the labor that it takes and how everybody celebrates and they can't believe 5 coming out of one human. Unbelievable. Imagine carrying that. But imagine giving birth to 5 babies naturally
Mm.
instead of with an operation.
Mm.
So we applaud you. We thank you for your service to humanity. You know that you came to be this particular, and we're using the word image, the image of who you are, not too big, not too small, but dynamite, setting explosions off everywhere. Don't you, in the work that you do with your sessions, people come in expecting something, and yet you have little sticks of dynamite, throwing it, exploding, exploding what they thought was the problem. And you're going, boom, look at the picture, look at the big picture, because you do big. We brought you here specifically to be a big player at this time. For Gaia put out a call to all its lineage. And so the star seeds came, they heard the call. And all who are listening today can choose to be big or small players. Some are stepping into their bigness, and some are still playing small. But when we say that, we don't mean it in a denigrating manner. For there are many that appear to be small, but the puzzle piece is perfect because that little bit just needs to connect with the other. As we said before, none better, none worse, all equal.
And I love that. And what's interesting is I'm actually holding a beautiful rose quartz heart that was gifted to all of us on this Egyptian tour by a beautiful, compassionate human being called Sue. And you know, when I feel into it and I feel the energy of who we all are, and thank you for explaining what you had shared with me in the pyramids, because I've been quite confused as to what that was about. And the interesting thing is that the universe, you guys, always show up in ways that are profound to me and to Jill. And, you know, I had 2 very trusted friends that were holding me in that supposed birthing process or change in the pyramids. And it is interesting how, you know, we call it the ripple effect or the vibration. And even this heart, this tiny little crystal that I'm holding right now, how this also holds a vibration, it holds a memory. And if we could all just allow our perceptions to let go of the old way of being. We really do have this beautiful new earth that we are all privileged to be here and to be on. Is there any last words for today? I could speak to you guys for hours, and I'm so grateful to Jill because, you know, we just roll with this as in how we are showed, and we just show up. And I feel it's important to share that I'm incredibly and eternally grateful to you guys for what you share with us. So are there any last words, please?
Yes, we have just shown her this image, and we say, it is time to step into your heart. So it was most apt that you shared your pink quartz crystal heart with us. And we are showing her somebody standing on a beach, and they've got a stick, and they're putting a big heart in the sand, and they then stepping into their heart.
Mm.
And you can get a piece of chalk and you can put this on your floor.
Mm.
You could do it on a piece of paper and put it on the floor and step into your heart. This is a time to open up your hearts and step into it.
Mm.
Stop the judgment. Stop the fear. Step into yourselves. What is it that you choose?
I love that. And what would you guys like to call this session today?
A heart opening.
Beautiful. And lastly, thank you for all the love. And who are we speaking to besides Nostradamus? Who are we speaking to?
The Council of Nine.
Council of Nine, did you say?
Correct.
Thank you, Council of Nine. We are so honored for you to be here. Julie, on that note, take a few big breaths, stretch, yawn. Oh. How did you find that?
As they said, the Council of Nine, they showed me the symbol of Tesla, 369.
Well, what's incredible for me is how when they spoke about giving birth to 5 kids, it symbolizes freedom, curiosity, and change. A desire to have adventures and explore new possibilities, but it signifies more than just high energy and excitement, from biology to astronomy to faith and religion. The number 5 has special meaning and significance, and that's what always blows my mind is that why did they choose 5? You know, they could have said 3 kids or 4 kids or 5 kids. And that was a really beautiful, profound session, which I feel is so necessary, especially with everything that's bringing change, you know, and maybe in the next few weeks we can keep these going, becoming more regular, especially with the build up and in going into the States. And it is so simple, hey, when they use the word gridlocked, load shedding, you know, it's like we have to unlock those grids, and everything is energy. Look at Tiddles. How was that for you?
I know, I found that was so funny when they said the load shedding and how they brought that all together. It's just so clever, isn't it? Thank you, Michelle. Thanks.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for allowing. And it's just so nice to be on this end and also get the questions and ask the questions. And it's so fascinating because I was hoping to find that comment because I was like, oh, how do we, I know it's just one comment and it's not negative or positive. It was a comment. And for me, everybody is important. You know, we all know, you and I've said this many times, it's great to get the positive comments. And oops, let me just put this on gallery. so it's those comments that I feel that where people are going, and that the questions like, okay, and sometimes, guys, we actually forget that, and it's not because you're not important, but we will say things and then we forget to deliver, or we get busy with our lives. But I feel like that comment was so important to what was going to be shared today, and yet I couldn't find it.
What a gift. What a gift that person gave us.
100%. And so I'm incredibly grateful, because it's all equal too. It's all that the push pull is always happening. I mean, I had a client yesterday that she'd been working really in herself, and having a deep dive, and she was an in-person client, and I was sharing to her what energy is about. But I was giving her the specifics, which is in Donna Eden's. Do you remember our first event we did in Wanaka? And I actually read about Donna Eden and the atoms and the electrons, and how Einstein said energy is everything. So I actually read it to her, and she was like, wow. But prior to me reading it to her, she was sharing how she was questioning a relationship that she's now in, and she's in her late 50s. And she said, but what was so interesting is she was sharing this questioning with friends of hers in the morning, and was quite teary. And her partner had phoned her and said, are we okay? Like, I'm worried you want to leave, or I'm worried you want to. And she said, how did he, like, she actually questioned, how did he know that? Because did somebody speak to him from the group of friends? And I said, that's energy. That's how quick. And she says, really? Like, it happens that way? And I said, pretty much. So it's interesting, like, it's the learning of the detachment, hey, the detachment to everything that we've learned. And it's the in and the out.
Flow.
Flow.
Nothing but flow.
Yeah.
It's supposed to come in, and then as it comes in, what are you creating? What are
Yeah.
you creating? You might be creating a beautiful meal, some art, some music, a friendship. What are you creating? So many
Well,
choices. It's exciting.
at 100%. And when you were slowly, going into relaxation, I got such a strong visual I was like, I could see your toes, and the bones in your toes, and the ligaments, and as I don't know if you saw it, but I could see, like I mentioned about the skeleton. But when you add everything together, and I got such a new appreciation for our bodies, because I could actually, I mean, obviously, I know we've had beautiful moments together, and but I could see your toes, and I was like, oh my God, her toes are beautiful. But look at the bones in the toes, the little bones that create that flow of walking forward. And then how the ankles attached to the heel, and going up into, the rest of your body. I was like, oh my soul, everything's everything. I mean, you look at how the rib cage holds everything.
And then when you got to my knee, I started laughing. I got a smile, because the knee was so bossy. The knee is the point between the thigh and the rest of it, right? The bottom. So it's like the bridge builder. And it actually tells both sides what to do.
I know, because there's so many connections that come into that knee. It's actually
Oh,
fascinating
it fancies itself
from
no,
both,
no in that knee. Full of
from both.
self-importance.
Isn't it incredible? I know. And I was saying to Gabs the other day, because my mom always slated her knees, I always berated my knees, and my knees had to heal a lot of energy. I know that, and I'm now strong in that. And I heard Gab saying the same, and I was like, stop it, stop it. Talk to your knees with love. They are beautiful.
Thank them for the fabulous job. I mean, they've got an important job. It's like you put them in the manager of the hotel, and now suddenly you've got to manage, and you've got to listen to everything. It's a big responsibility the knees have. They need a bit of appreciation.
Absolutely. And
Otherwise, they're going to resign.
absolutely. It's
Go on,
incredible,
Sprout.
eh? When we just,
Oh, so
we started listening to, myself and Brent started listening to Joe Dispenza's one book. what is it when you can, a placebo. Okay, you can take the pill or you can have the placebo effect. And I was listening to his life story about how he got knocked off his bicycle and how his spine was broken. And I always fall asleep with these books. But anyway, what I remember thinking was thinking about his accident because I was listening to the story. And then he was he was talking about one of his bones and it looked like a pretzel. And I don't know which one it was exactly. But I remember still going outside of myself and thinking, holy, this guy healed his spine. But where I was going with the outside is like, because there was a little bit of doubt, like, how? How is this possible? How is this possible? Because we're told everything is possible.
That is the yeah, that's why they said you can will a dead cell to life. And now that he's working with all those specialists who've done it scientifically. But to me, spirituality is science. It's a new science. And
Absolutely.
we now have to learn, remember what energy is, and then be the master and commander of your vessel and tell it and instruct it. But how do you, they're telling me now, how would you get an employee to do a great job for you? What, by mistreating it, by not nourishing them, by speaking badly? No. So think of every cell in your body as an employee, and you are the employer. So how would you treat every cell in order to get the best outcome? And you are in charge. You are in charge for your wellness, and you are in charge of your illness. And I think this is the new earth.
The new frequency, I was just about to say.
It is the new frequency, the new earth that we are stepping into. And they're taking me straight back to the grounding. How grounded are you? How balanced are you? Are you still finger pointing? Are you still finger pointing at yourself? Being hard on yourself all the times that you messed up. You know what? They're showing me the pages. It's a book of life. Guys, just put in a new page tomorrow.
Very much so. Yeah. Thank you, Julie. Guys, thanks for being here.
Thanks,
And
Mitch.
yeah, thank you for that beautiful information. And it's called the heart opening, which I love even more. So, guys, thanks again, and onwards and upwards. And remember, stay here. This is the true knowing. This is the true faith. This is the true core of who we are.
Your heart will show you.
Always. I love that. Have a beautiful day. Bye, guys.